Have you ever pondered over the asylum policies of different countries and their implications on global migration trends? It's a question that sparks curiosity and demands a deeper understanding of the world we live in. Asylum policies, you see, are a crucial part of a nation's immigration system. They are designed to provide protection to people who have fled their home countries due to fear of persecution. This persecution could be based on a myriad of reasons, including race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. Imagine living a life where your safety is constantly at risk, where your freedom is compromised, and where your basic human rights are trampled upon. This is the grim reality for many individuals around the world. Asylum policies, thus, serve as a beacon of hope for these individuals, offering them a chance at a secure and dignified life. But asylum policies aren't just about providing refuge. They also have broader implications on a global scale. They can influence migration trends, affect international relations, and even shape a country's demographic and cultural fabric. Therefore, understanding these policies can provide insight into a country's stance on human rights, its approach to international law, and its societal values. Yet, it's also important to note that these policies are not without their complexities. They can be influenced by political agendas, economic factors, and public sentiment. They can also raise pertinent questions about national security, social integration, and resource allocation. So you see, asylum policies are more than just words on a piece of legislation. They are dynamic and multifaceted, reflecting a country's ethos and its role on the world stage. And that's why they deserve our attention and understanding. To understand better, let's delve into the asylum policies of two powerful nations, the United States and Germany. The United States has a rich history of welcoming those seeking refuge. How does it approach this in the modern context? Well, let's dive in. The U.S. asylum policy is a complex, multifaceted system, but there are a few key features that stand out. One of the most notable is its well-established legal framework. The United States has a solid set of laws and regulations in place governing asylum, providing clear guidelines on who qualifies for asylum and the process they must go through to obtain it. This well-defined structure offers a measure of predictability and security for those seeking refuge. Another significant aspect of the U.S. asylum policy is the ability for applicants to work while their application is being processed. This is a unique advantage not found in every country's asylum policies. After submitting their asylum application, individuals may apply for employment authorization. If granted, they can legally work in the United States, enabling them to support themselves and their families during the often lengthy asylum process. But the policy doesn't stop there. The U.S. also offers a range of benefits to asylum seekers, including access to social services like healthcare and education, as well as the potential for permanent residency and eventual citizenship. These benefits can be life-changing for those fleeing persecution or violence in their home countries. The U.S. asylum policy isn't just about what's offered to asylum seekers, though. It's also about the values it represents. The policy is a symbol of the United States' commitment to human rights, to providing refuge for those in need, and to upholding the principles of international law. Yet, like any policy, it's not without its complexities and challenges. While the policy has its strengths, such as its comprehensive legal framework and the ability for applicants to work while their application is being processed, it also faces criticisms and challenges, which we will explore next. So, stay tuned as we delve into the intricacies of the U.S. asylum policy, its strengths, its weaknesses, and its potential future. Every policy has its critics. What are the main criticisms faced by the U.S. asylum policy? In the realm of asylum policy, the United States has faced a fair share of critiques. One of the most prominent concerns is the prolonged processing times. Asylum seekers often find themselves in a state of limbo, waiting for years on end to have their cases resolved. This drawn-out process not only strains resources, but also puts tremendous psychological stress on the individuals involved. Equally contentious is the detention of asylum seekers. Critics argue that this approach is punitive and inhumane, especially when it involves the separation of families. Another contentious point is the Remain in Mexico policy. Critics argue that this policy exposes asylum seekers to dangerous conditions in Mexico and undermines their right to seek protection. These criticisms highlight the complexities and challenges of the U.S. asylum policy. But the conversation doesn't stop here. Now let's shift our focus to Germany, a country with a contrasting approach to asylum. Germany, a nation at the heart of Europe, has a unique approach to asylum seekers. What sets it apart? In a world where asylum policies are under constant scrutiny, Germany stands out with its distinct approach. Central to Germany's asylum policy is the principle of individual assessment, where each application is meticulously evaluated on its own merits. This is a testament to Germany's commitment to upholding international human rights norms. One of the key advantages of Germany's asylum policy lies in its speed. The German Federal Office for Migration and Refugees aims to process most applications within a few months. This quick turnaround not only alleviates the uncertainty of waiting for asylum seekers but also allows for faster integration into German society for those granted protection. Moreover, Germany extends a helping hand to asylum seekers during the processing period. The government provides social benefits including accommodation, healthcare, and even language classes to facilitate their integration. This is in stark contrast to many countries where asylum seekers are left to fend for themselves. Germany's asylum policy also recognizes the importance of family unity. The German system allows for family reunification, where immediate family members of recognized refugees can apply to join them in Germany. This emphasizes the human aspect of asylum, going beyond mere legalities to acknowledge the emotional and psychological well-being of refugees. However, it's not all rosy. Germany's asylum policy has been criticized for its complexity and the high threshold for proving persecution. And while the fast processing times are commendable, critics argue that speed should not compromise the thoroughness of the process. Furthermore, the provision of social benefits has been a contentious issue, with critics arguing that it could act as a pull factor, attracting economic migrants rather than genuine asylum seekers. Others point out that the benefits, while helpful, are not enough to meet the real costs of living in a country like Germany. Just like the US, Germany's asylum policy also faces criticisms and challenges. Despite these challenges, Germany's asylum policy remains a beacon of hope for many, a testament to a nation's commitment to uphold human rights and offer refuge to those in dire need. Germany's asylum policy, while admirable, is not without its faults. What are the main criticisms it faces? One of the most significant criticisms is the struggle for social integration. Asylum seekers often face language barriers and cultural differences that make it difficult for them to fully integrate into German society. These challenges can lead to isolation and hinder their ability to contribute to the community. Another point of contention is the Dublin Regulation. This EU law stipulates that refugees must apply for asylum in the first EU country they enter, which puts a disproportionate burden on countries like Greece and Italy, and less so on Germany. Critics argue that this is unfair and unsustainable. Lastly, there's the rise of anti-immigrant sentiment. The influx of asylum seekers has fueled xenophobia and far-right ideologies, creating a hostile environment for refugees. As we look towards the future, both countries have important decisions to make about their asylum policies. The future of asylum policies in both the US and Germany is uncertain. What might we expect to see? As we look to the horizon, we can see that changes are on the cards for both countries, influenced by a myriad of factors. Both nations grapple with the challenges of balancing national security concerns, humanitarian obligations, and the evolving dynamics of global migration. In the United States, the future of asylum policy is likely to be shaped by the ongoing debate over border security and immigration reform. There's a possibility for further tightening of asylum laws, as critics argue that the current system is prone to abuse. However, there's also a growing call for a more compassionate approach, one that acknowledges the plight of those fleeing persecution and violence. Policies may be revised to expedite the asylum process, reduce administrative backlog, and provide more robust support for asylum seekers. Across the Atlantic, Germany's asylum policy is also at a crossroads. With the memory of the 2015 migration crisis still fresh, the country faces the challenge of integrating the large number of refugees it has already admitted. Future policies might focus more on integration strategies, language training, and job placement programs to facilitate the smooth assimilation of refugees into German society. At the same time, Germany might also adopt stricter measures to manage the influx of new asylum seekers, possibly tightening its borders and enhancing its vetting procedures. Of course, these predictions are just that, predictions. They are subject to the whims of political change, economic fluctuations, and the unpredictable patterns of global migration. They also hinge on the global community's commitment to upholding the principles of the 1951 Refugee Convention, which underscores the shared responsibility of protecting those fleeing persecution. As we continue to witness the evolution of these policies, it's clear that the dialogue surrounding asylum is as crucial as ever. The balance between compassion and security, between national interests and global responsibilities, will continue to shape the future of asylum policies in the US and Germany. So, what have we learned from comparing the asylum policies of the US and Germany? Both nations have unique advantages, but not without their share of criticisms. The US policy is more stringent, while Germany's is more welcoming. However, both face challenges in handling the influx of asylum seekers. Looking ahead, both countries are expected to continue refining their policies, responding to both internal pressures and global trends. As we navigate an ever-changing world, understanding these policies is key to